So I have a niece who should be going into 11th, 10th or 11th grade this year. And so she would have been during COVID about 10, 11, 12, wasn't in school. Here's a phone, here's an iPad. I just think it screwed them up so bad. I mean, I think phones in general did, but so she's going to a different school. She just happened to move with her mom. And so she's in a different school district in Hibbing now. So that's just like 30 minutes away. Well, they just announced a few weeks ago that they are going no phones. And I think that as much of a Sisyphean battle as it's going to be, it needed to be done years ago. Because I see mental health issues with her, but I only see her. But she doesn't have the ability to focus on anything other than her phone. It's, and I'm sure Jonathan Haidt, I listen to his stuff. He's covered it extensively, that it is turning kids' brains to mush, especially that like very delicate group that really was affected by that and, came into the age where just cell phones are the only thing that matter. And so what I was thinking was, how are, I mean, they're going to implement the policy, but I wonder what kind of mental health fallout, like, and I'm not saying it's mature, but what kind of fallout and mental
Mm.
health crises, if you will, there will be when they have to learn how to function without their phone. And
Yeah.
I would guess that some of them subconsciously maybe want a break from their phone, but I really hope that the teachers are up to that task, um, because I think it's so important, so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have to hold strong. I think like what happens is like a day like today happens, and I think there are some bad faith arguments or well-intentioned silly arguments, like like people who are not in that school. Like let's put aside the school itself, right? Because there's all kinds of studies about whether phones in the hands of kids actually make people safer or not, and it's not as definitive as people think. And in some cases, it could be the opposite of what people assume. But there'll be these arguments, and I see these all the time that, well, what if that happened in our school? Like, wouldn't the kid need their phone? And like, you start to game it out, like, what are they going to do with their phone? Like, you call it like they call you while the thing's going on, and what is that going to do other than make them more conspicuous and confuse first responders even more? And also that we have to have trade-offs, right? Like like obviously we could put every kid in a bubble and they'll be more safe, quote unquote, but they'll also be really poorly adjusted. And obviously we've been running this experiment with kids. And honestly, it's unfathomable to me that any schools have allowed phones.
Ever.
Back then we used to check the phones back in 2016. So like, we would have the kids, if you bring your phone in, we'd have a little lockbox that the
Mm.
teacher would put them in plastic bags with names, and we'd give them back to the kids at the end of the day. Parents could call. We all went through school. Parents call the front office. We call you up. We have little, systems to get you to where you need to go if the parent needs to talk to you. Everybody's in the same place. It's not hard to get in touch with people if you really need to get in touch with them. We've all been through this before. There's just a lot of silly arguments about it. And Amy, I think the detox won't be as crazy as you think. I think from what I hear, most people report really positive immediate effects where kids are actually happy about it too. And the adults just need to be strong about keeping up, because there'll always be a small percentage of parents who try to push back against the system. And a good school is going to be able to respectfully push back against those parents and say, look, I understand your concerns. And this is why I like school choice, because schools can then say to a parent, hey, if you don't like our policy, you can go to some school that allows phones, right? And whatever crazy school that is where the kids are sitting on their phones, go for it.